Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Top 5 Saturdays Live with me, Chase Lee, and my co-host,
Ryan Sudfield.
That's fucking right. And this week, we are going to take a look at films based on television shows and give you our top 5 lists. This is a show where we take a look at movies that are coming out on Friday, and we pick one, we pick an actor, a director, the genre, whatever, and we make a top 5 list based on what we choose. And the cool thing about the show is that we don't know each other's lists. So it's all random. We have no idea what's going to be on there, and it's live. So if you're watching this live, you can comment that place, rub on my face, you can troll me, you can do whatever you want. I will fight back, and I will comment. I'm a commenter. So the movies coming out this week were Straight Outta Compton and The Man from U.N.C.L.E. And so we were going to do biopics, but we got that saved for another day. And so we were kind of thinking, well, how about Man from U.N.C.L.E.? What is that? Well, it's a TV show. Well, it's based on a TV show from back in the day. So let's do films based on TV shows. There's a lot of them. There's a lot of shitty ones. There's a lot of mediocre ones. So let's just get this started. So before we get into our list, Brian, I have to ask you, was this list like super hard to come up with and kind of narrow it down to that top 5?
Sort of.
Okay, that tells me that it was not hard. And you just
okay. No, it was difficult. Believe me, it was.
Yeah, I mean, because if you think about it, there's a lot of movies based on television shows. It is insane. So let's start with some honorable mentions. What are some that you were just like, I really want to put it on my list, but at the same time, I couldn't, man. I couldn't make that cut. So I know you have a pretty long list, so just kind of fire through them. Which ones are on your honorable mentions? Okay,
there's only one that I really wanted to put on my list so bad, but it just couldn't go, and that's the Simpsons movie.
Oh, there you go.
That was the big one that almost made the cut. Like almost, because then when I realized that one of my top 5 was based on a TV show, I'm like, then I have to push this out. Oh, that's great. So then other honorable mentions include 3 Star Trek movies. I'm not going to name which, because then that's kind of a spoiler. All the Mission Impossible movies except for number 2, Borat, Entourage, the South Park movie, the 2 SpongeBob movies, The Addams Family, Jackass the movie, Beavis and Butthead Do America, Recess School's Out, the 2 Rugrats movies, the first 2, the third one, and then the Wild Four Marys movie.
Nice.
Listen, I grew up around the time Nickelodeon was still good, so that's why you hear a lot of these Nickelodeon shows on here. No,
I totally agree. I was actually one of those saps that I literally went to the theater both times during both Rugrats movies, so I totally get where you're coming from. You know what's really interesting about the Simpsons movie is that I like the first 5 seasons and never cared for anything afterwards, and then I actually like the movie. I like the movie the most out of the most current stuff, so it's actually kind of interesting.
Yeah.
So I only put 3 on my honorable mentions list because I mean most of them are the same as yours, but this might shake things up a little bit. You didn't put Hey Arnold, did you? Oh man, look at that. No.
I'm very mixed on that film.
I kind of like it for what it was. I was a huge fan of the TV show growing up.
Same here, but I was disappointed with the film. Yeah, as I got older, I didn't really like the film as much.
Well, what's weird about the film is that it's only an hour and 15 minutes. So it's
it is really short. So
it's a really short movie. But I watched it on Netflix the other day, and I was like, yeah, I kind of like this shit still. And then 21 Jump Street is on my honorable mentions, and Jackass. Because anyone that will say out there, Jackass is nothing but a bunch of grown men doing stunts, well, guess fucking what, folks? They're goddamn funny. It doesn't matter what you say about them. I have seen all 3. Well, no, I saw 2 and 3 in theaters, and the energy from the audience was just insane. I loved just watching these guys hurt themselves for a laugh because it's just a fun ride. So, yeah, I couldn't make my list because I didn't really want to put it on there because these 5 films I do have on my list are pretty banging. So I'm pretty comfortable with my list. So with that being said...
Actually, no, you go first this time. I always go first. You should go first this time.
Oh, well, shit. Look who's taking the reins. All right, so number 5 is an interesting one because you guys know that I'm the comedy guy. I don't want to put all comedies on there, so I wanted to mix it up a little bit. And so for number 5... is done by one of my favorite directors of all time. Based on a TV show that was really fucking popular for the amount of time that it was on, which was only 2 seasons. Stars Kyle MacLachlan. That would be David Lynch's Twin Peaks.
Oh.
The prequel movie.
Oh.
Yeah, is it the Fire Walk Beneath Me or the Fire?
Not sure.
Hold on, folks. I got the list up. Shows you how much I love it. Oh, a Fire Walk with Me. Yeah, because that's one of the clues inside the show and stuff. I'm a huge fan of that TV show, and quite frankly, I'm a huge fan of Mr. Lynch. Like, Mulholland Drive is one of my favorite movies of all time. Listen, the dude's like a really surreal filmmaker. He just creates things non-linear. It's like a fucking dream, and it makes you kind of think and just kind of put pieces together and stuff. And this movie is it's a prequel based on the events of Twin Peaks, the show, and I really enjoyed it. It's got that same David Lynch flair to it. Like, it's just, you know that he touched the film inappropriately with his style, and it's just I love it. Like, it's a weird David Lynch movie, but it has the same tone as the show. And it when I was looking down the list, I was like, oh shit, I completely forgot about that one. So I went ahead and put that as my number 5 because it's a good little movie that's based on one of my favorite TV shows of all time. That's why I put it on my list. Brian, have you seen Twin Peaks?
No, big confession, I have yet to see. I'm gonna watch all the Twin Peaks stuff before the revival series comes on Showtime.
Yeah, it's really damn good, dude. Both of the seasons, for anyone that's curious, is on Netflix. So if you want to go down the weird Twin Peaks lane, there you fucking go. It's a really cool little murder mystery, and I think David Lynch is really good at that because most of his movies are about a murder mystery. He's like the LSD version of Hitchcock.
Yeah,
that's the best way to put him. But I fucking love him. He's one of the best surreal directors that we have. And if you have not seen Mulholland Drive, folks, go fucking buy it. Just go fucking buy it, and you'll thank me later. I saw it 3 times in like a week one time because it's just so damn good. And when you really look into it, it is a really deep, smart fucking movie. Mulholland Drive, folks. But we're talking about films based on TV shows. Twin Peaks, which is a prequel to the show. So, Brian, number 5 for you.
My number 5 is based on not exactly a show. It's based on a skit.
Okay. Whoa. You picked an SNL movie.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to assume that you either went Blues Brothers or Wayne's World. I'm going to go with Wayne's World.
Yes.
Boom.
Right here. Right here proves it. Right here.
All right, so Brian, tell me and like everyone that's watching, why'd you put Wayne's World on? Why did that make the cut?
Because it's one of the funniest films I think I've ever seen. Like, as I was growing up, I started watching a bunch of these like SNL stuff, and Wayne's World was one of them, and I just loved Mike Myers growing up. I mean, with like Shrek and Austin Powers, like I loved him, and Dana Carvey was also really funny. And just this movie, it's just so funny from beginning to end. I love when he always talks to the camera. I love the Bohemian Rhapsody scene. Rob Lowe is awesome as the villain. The lines in this movie are great. The movie still holds up for it being 23 years old, and it's just so entertaining, and it's great. It's great. These two just work together so well. Party on Wayne, party on Garth, swing. So it works very well for what it is, and I love it. It's one of my favorite 90s comedies. It's not my favorite 90s comedy, but it's one of them.
Would you?
The sequel, I think it's fine. I think the sequel is okay. It's not great, but it's not awful either.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. Would you be excited if they reunited for a third one?
I like it when they reunite every few years, like on SNL or when they did the MTV Movie Awards thing. I like when they do that. I mean, I'm glad that they reunited for the 40th anniversary special. So, like, I mean, if they do a Wayne's World 3, I actually would like if the original director came back. Penelope Frears? I think it would be better if she came back to direct these two. I don't know if she directed the second one. I'm not entirely sure, but I think it would be cool, but I'm not entirely sure. It all depends on who's doing it. That's all it depends on.
That's true. I mean, yeah, as long as they get like a really good like comedic writer or a duo of writers and a really good comedic director, it could be a pretty good little comeback. But I mean, I'm going to bring this up as like the go-to answer for all comedy sequels now that I've waited this long. Dumb and Dumber is one of my favorite movies of all time. It is so fucking funny, and it never, ever gets old. The same team comes back and does the sequel, and I hate it. So, I mean, it's really strange how beloved comedies can change later down the line, even with the same people. It's insane. I forgot to mention, this was not on my honorable mentions, but I actually really enjoy this SNL skit turned movie. I love MacGruber, man.
I actually haven't seen MacGruber.
You haven't seen MacGruber? Like, no. I love Will Forte to death, and
yeah,
this all the MacGruber skits on SNL are fucking hilarious. But the movie it's something else, man. It's got that Will Forte like zany humor, and it's just off the wall, like fast paced. I love it, man. It's a guilty pleasure. All right, so speaking of comedies, because there are two of them on here. This one I did not know was based on a TV show, but I looked into it, and it was. It only lasted a season, but it counts. And it spawned off into a really successful comedy trilogy, starring the late, great Leslie Nielsen. That would be, my friends, Naked Gun.
Wow.
I know, right? Like, I did not know it was based on a show called Police Squad, and I thought it was just like the subtitle of the movie, because it's called Naked Gun from the Files of Police Squad. I thought that was just the title of the movie. No, it's actually based on a TV show that ran for a season, so it counts. So yeah, what's more to say about it? The thing with spoof genre, the spoof genre is that it's a dying genre. They are not made like they used to be anymore. Airplane, Naked Gun. You have the Mel Brooks movies like Spaceballs, Blazing Saddles, History of the World Part 1. These are prime examples of what a spoof movie is supposed to be, and spoof that specific genre or specific movie. The Naked Gun movies, they spoof police movies and detective movies and shows and stuff. And Leslie Nielsen is like the king of slapstick comedy. And it doesn't matter which one you watch, Naked Gun 2 1/4 or 2 1/2, sorry, and then Naked Gun 33 1/3. They're all fucking hilarious. But I put the first one there because it was the one that spawned off this trilogy. It's just a really good slapstick movie that makes fun of all the police and detective tropes. And even if you think slapstick is stupid, give this one a shot, because I think you actually might crack a smile. That's why I put that as my number 4. It never gets old. It still holds up. So, Brian, you've seen the Naked Gun movies, right?
I've only seen the first one, I believe.
You like it?
Yeah, it was funny.
Yeah, but like, you watched it and you were probably thinking like, oh, slapstick is gonna be terrible, but you were just like, that wasn't pretty bad.
I watched it a long time ago, so
yeah, I would advise you to watch any one of them again. Like, they still hold up. They're great. Leslie Nielsen, rest in peace, sir. You are the fucking king. So, with that being said, Brian, what is your number 4?
My number 4 is a movie that I had no idea was based on a TV show until a while back when I researched this stuff, and that is The Untouchables, which I had no idea was based on a TV show at all, because when you watch this movie, you would think it's just a true story, and yet it was based on a TV show that ran for 4 seasons, I believe, and it's a great movie. It's one of my favorite mob films. I love Kevin Costner as Elliot Ness. De Niro as Al Capone is great. You got nothing! And Sean Connery in his Oscar-winning role as Malone, fantastic. It's just a great mob movie. Brian De Palma directed this. He directed Scarface and Carrie and Mission Impossible. It's one of his best movies. I would probably label it as my second favorite film of his, behind Scarface.
Wow.
And it's great. Listen, Carrie's fantastic and everything, but to me, Scarface and The Untouchables are his 2 best films. But I guess for being adapted from a TV show, I guess it did it justice. Because when I researched it, it said it was a faithful adaptation of the show. So that was good enough.
What was the how long did the show run, you say? Like, from what year to what year? And then what was the show?
It was like the late 50s to early 60s.
Okay, and what was the show about for all the people out there that don't know what the show is or the movie is? Like, what is it about?
It's about this detective, Elliot Ness, and he forms a group called the Untouchables to hunt down Al Capone and all these other mobsters, but mainly Al Capone. That's really all you need to know. And in this movie, Elliot Ness is played by Kevin Costner, and this was around the time he was starting to become more known. So this was, I think this might have been the first big movie he did. I'm not entirely sure. I'm not entirely sure. I think Field of Dreams came out after this. This came out 87. I think Field of Dreams came out the same year, the year after. But it's a pretty epic film. It's great. It's fast paced. And if you love mob movies, you have to watch this movie. You just have to.
Perfect. And I agree. The last time I saw it, believe it or not, I think it was on TV like a long time ago. So I haven't seen that movie in quite some time. So I will definitely it's got the infamous scene that people make fun of all the time in movies where it's got the stroller going down the stairs in slow-mo.
Yeah.
So that's that movie, if people were wondering what that scene came from. So it's a pretty good choice, man. We have nothing in common so far. I like that. I actually want both of us to have different lists with nothing in common. We could probably do it.
I feel like we're going to have one film. I feel like we might just have one film together on this list. One. If we don't, then that's pretty interesting.
I mean, I'm looking at my top 3 right now, and I don't think there's any way, shape, or form that you got these on your list.
Well, I wouldn't know. So exactly. So give me your number 3, dude.
All right.
Let's hear it.
This is going to actually shock you, but I went ahead and went with it because there's a lot of action movies that are based on television shows and stuff. And, of course, this franchise is based off of an infamous TV show. And I like the whole franchise up until this point. And Brian was actually on my podcast when we talked about it. I'm putting Rogue Nation as my number 3. Now, listen, I know people are saying, like, oh, shit, that's only been out in theaters for 2 weeks. Hear me out. I really wanted to put, like, a spy movie on there or, like, an action movie on there. I didn't want to put the fucking A-Team or some bullshit like that. So I was thinking, I was like, what TV show has been out there? And I was like, Mission Impossible TV show. They're getting better and better and better. Like, ever since number 3, they've been going into high gear. And I was telling Brian, like, we did this whole episode on this movie. I felt tense throughout the entire time. I felt like my heart was pumping. I felt like I was in these situations with Cruise. And it's just a high-octane action film. It's pretty damn smart. It's well-written. It's just exciting. And it's got some of the best stunt work I've seen in action films. It's good stuff, man. Like, I couldn't deny it. Now, I was debating on putting 3, 4, or 5 on there, but I went ahead and went with the latter because I really like number 5 a lot. So I would put Rogue Nation as number 3 for me. Are you shocked or?
Nope.
Okay, so
listen, I wanted to put one of them on, but then I'm like, oh, I don't know which one to put on. So obviously I said I wouldn't put on 2, but like I wouldn't know if I would put 3 or 1 or 4 or 5. Like I wouldn't know. So that's why I had to put them all in my honorable mentions.
I think the only reason I chose 5 is because besides Philip Seymour Hoffman, I don't remember the third one that much. And besides the Dubai scene, I don't remember the fourth one that much.
Okay.
But number 5, I remember the whole damn thing. I'm still thinking about it. It opens up the plane scene. You have the underwater scene. You have the motorcycle chase scene. You have the cool, the opera scene. There's a lot of memorable moments, and it's got a cool story of a cat and mouse going back and forth. Who's good? Who's bad? Bullshit. It's great. I remembered the whole thing, and so that's why I put Rogue Nation as my number 5. So, woo! Damn.
Wait, you said Mission Impossible as your Rogue Nation as your number 5. You mean number 3?
It's the 5th film in the franchise. That's my number 3. All right. So, with that said, what is your number 3?
My number 3 is probably the only, and I'm not sure about this, the only TV series that was turned into a movie that was nominated for the Best Picture Oscar, and that is The Fugitive. I didn't kill my wife.
Oh, shit.
I don't care.
I have a confession to make.
Here we go.
I know that Tommy Lee Jones won for Best Supporting Actor, but I've never seen the movie. Now, listen, You know what's really funny is I actually saw this before The Fugitive. I have the Leslie Nielsen spoof of it, the wrongfully accused one. Let me show you.
What the fuck is wrong with him?
Look at this. Look at this shit. I have the Leslie Nielsen spoof of it, but I've never seen The Fugitive. I rented this from like my local video store because I loved Leslie Nielsen at the time. I was like, I love Airplane and Naked Gun. Let's give this one a shot. This was so fucking funny. I actually rented it twice because it was so good. It's actually written, produced and directed by Pat Proft, who did he worked on Airplane and Naked Gun with the Zucker brothers. But this, I don't, for some reason, I fucking like this. And I've seen this one in its entirety in the actual Fugitive. So, sorry for the tangent, but Brian, go ahead and explain to people what The Fugitive is and what Harrison Ford is running from.
Okay, Harrison Ford is accused of murdering his wife, and his name is Dr. Richard Kimball, and he is running away because people are accusing him of murdering his very beautiful wife, who I believe was played by Jean from the X-Men films. I believe. I'm not entirely sure about that.
So,
oh no, she wasn't. I'm sorry, I mixed her up with someone else. She was played by that female. She was played by the wife from The Day After Tomorrow, who happened to be one of the reporters or talk show hosts from Gone Girl. Do you remember? The black hair one. I can't spoil it. She was the wife in The Day After Tomorrow.
You know who you were thinking of when you said Jean Grey from X-Men, who is Famke Janssen?
Yeah, I was thinking of her. She was Taken.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You were thinking of Taken. I was like,
Taken. I forgot.
As soon as you said that, I was like, your mind just went to a Liam Neeson movie. So I thought that was kind of funny.
So he's accused of murdering his wife. He's on the run, basically, and he gets in through a bunch of shenanigans. And the guy who's chasing him is Sergeant Gerard, played by Tommy Lee Jones.
Now, I have a question.
It's fucking amazing, guys.
I have a question to ask you because they're going to remake this movie, and
what
the reason why the old one works is because cell phones were not invented. There was no internet, basically. You had to go everything by payphone and transactions of places and stuff. If they want to do a remake, they can't make it modern because we have the technology now to track people, and if someone's running away from someone, they're gonna fucking find them. So
it's not the same if they make it now. It's better that it was in the 90s.
That's what I'm saying. Like, so
you can't remake The Fugitive.
Are you
if it was a shitty movie, I understand that, but it's not a shitty movie.
Well,
it was nominated for Best Picture, for goodness sakes.
They're not remaking because it was shitty. They're just remaking it because they want to capitalize on it. So
is that true? Are they really remaking it, or is that just a speculation?
I found out that story and reported it on my podcast like a while back, and it said that they're trying to get a remake out there. But that's the question I had was like, how the fuck are you supposed to run away from the cops or whatever if we're in the age of cell phones and stuff? Like, it's not going to work. So they're going to have to do it back in the day, or if they do it modern, it's going to be really dumb because like you're not going to be able to stretch a movie out like that. It's just going to be stretched thin. So, yeah, I just didn't know how you felt about the Fugitive remake.
I didn't even know this was happening.
As far as I know, they're trying to work on it. Listen, I could be fucking wrong, and someone's going to correct me in the comments below. That's fine. I'm always wrong. But guess what? I still roll with it. So that's an interesting number 3, which is actually
a great film. Harrison Ford should have been nominated for the Oscar. In my opinion, if you exclude Han Solo and Indiana Jones, it might be his best non-Star Wars or non-Indiana Jones performance. And it's the best to me anyway. Some people might say Witness, which he was nominated for an Oscar for, but I think The Fugitive is his best non-Star Wars and non-Indiana Jones performance. I mean, it's Tommy Lee Jones' best performance as well. It's great. You're on the edge of your seat the whole time. I mean, like I said, that I didn't kill my wife, I don't care scene. It's fucking great. Then he jumps off into the Hoover Dam. It's fucking great. It's just great. And when I watched Taken 3 a while back, so bad, it just ripped off The Fugitive. just ripped off The Fugitive. Terrible.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting premise and stuff, and I find it kind of interesting that both of our number threes are like high octane action films. So interesting.
This wouldn't be as high octane as Mission Impossible, but
true. But for what it is, that type of story, I mean, that's pretty heart pounding. Being accused of something and running away. So I mean, that's a pretty interesting movie. Like I said, have not seen it. Don't shoot me, but I'll check it out. Guys, listen. Here's a little bit of real talk. Let's go on a little rant for a second. Guys, there's like thousands of fucking movies out that exist in the world. We're not going to be able to watch everything, okay? So when people get really offended, like, you haven't fucking seen that movie, it's like, bro, there's like 1,000 fucking movies that are just like all over the place. Like, you can't just watch everything. No one's got that fucking time unless you're some of the people on my Facebook friends list, and then that's all they do is watch movies and die in their bedroom. So we're down to the top two. Now, my top two, I'm looking at them. They cannot be any more fucking different than they already are. Little story on the second one. I didn't see this movie until last year for the first time. Now, I'm going to be talking about this movie, just kind of giving you a backstory, and the clue is actually on my screen right now.
Really? Really?
I don't think you know which one I'm going with.
It's Batman, isn't it?
Of course it is. It's Batman, Mask of the Phantasm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, I really like the old school Batman with Kevin Conroy as the voice of Batman. It grew up during the
I thought you were talking about the wait, did the Batman movie with Adam West come out before the show?
No,
did that come out before the show?
Came out after, I believe.
Oh, that's what I thought you might have picked. I didn't realize that you were going to pick Mask of the Phantasm.
The fuck? Okay, anyways.
I'm kidding.
I hate goofy Batman. Never been a fan of Adam West Batman. Sorry. No, I watched this movie for the first time last year, and I love hand-drawn animation in general. Old school Batman, the Batman animated series, it's a damn good series. Like, if you guys watch it,
absolutely.
I watched it a lot as a kid and stuff. It's fucking awesome. And
I haven't seen it since I was a kid. So
yeah, it's really good though. If you rewatch it, plays.
I'm sure it's much better when you get older.
Well, it plays off more as an adult film when you get older, or so, because you're just like, oh wow, this is actually some dark subject matter. But the Mask of the Phantasm, it's just a great story. It's got great animation. It's got great voice acting. It's just the complete package that you want from a superhero film. A nice self-contained story of the Joker going fucking crazy. And I'm gonna give you guys a little insight as to my knowledge of comic books and comic graphic novels and stuff. I have never read a full comic front to back in my life. I read half of the first issue of the Hulk, and that was it. Not because I didn't want to. It's just I didn't have an outlet to go get comic books when I was a kid. But the only superhero story I have read from front to back, I shit you not, is The Dark Knight Returns from Frank Miller. And I adored that fucking story. And that's why when I see Batman v Superman next year, I'm going to be pumped because I'm just like, I fucking read the source material. I can actually fucking say that. So, yeah, no, that Batman is one of the only stories I've actually read, like one of its stories and stuff. But I saw Mask of the Phantasm last year, and it's just a damn good movie. It's not a children's movie by any means. It's
not at all, guys.
It's still got like that adult feel to it, just like the show. And like I said, it's just a really good story of the Joker and Batman and this entity called the Phantasm.
That film wasn't originally supposed to be in theaters. It was supposed to be on TV, but then it got released in theaters, and then no one knew about it, so that's why it didn't do so well at the box office.
Yeah, and it's just, I don't know, maybe in kind of a weird, sick way, I'm kind of glad it didn't do well, because now it's kind of like one of these underground things where like everyone talks about Mask of the Phantasm as
like a cult, like a cult classic.
Yeah, so it's definitely like an underground cult classic that not many people have heard of, and if you ask anyone what are your top 3 favorite Batman films? I'm talking any incarnation. Most of them actually put Mask of the Phantasm on there. And when I was going down the list, I was like, oh shit, that was based off of the TV show. I was like, I got to put that on there because I saw it last year. I fell in love with it. It was great. So Batman Mask of the Phantasm, if you're a fan of the animated series or just a fan of Batman in general, check it out. I think you'll like it a lot. So with that being said, Brian, what's your number dose? Your numero dose.
My numero dose is my number 1 reboot of all time, and that's Star Trek.
Oh, shit! Whoa!
I said everything about this movie last week. I adore this film. Got me into Star Trek. I'm not a Trekkie. I'm more of a Star Wars fan than I am with Star Trek, but I appreciate Star Trek for what it is. And, I mean, if you look at what someone named Geoff Butcher said from the LA Times, he said this, it's a fun, smart, sexy, sleek, and action-packed film. I wouldn't call it sexy, but okay. And Chase just danced like a fool. So, okay, that's just way out of hand, dude. But okay.
Sexy. It's a sexy movie.
Yeah, because you have... if the fucking glare would go away, you have this woman who's really sexy. Okay, listen, Chris Pine is very sexy, okay? Quintel, sorry, man. But it's a great movie. Great movie. Recommend it. I hate that I don't have this on Blu-ray. I have Into Darkness on Blu-ray. And the 3 Star Trek movies I put on my honorable mentions were Into Darkness, Wrath of Khan, and The Search for Spock. Those were the 3 Star Trek films I put in my honorable mentions.
You know what's really funny about what you just said? I have Into Darkness on Blu-ray, and I only have the first one on DVD. I don't know why. I think it was because it was around the time I was getting Blu-rays, and I think Into Darkness was coming out around that time. So I was like, ooh, that would be one of my first ones in my collection.
Yeah.
Yeah, so no. And I told Brian last week on the Reboots episode, you guys can check that out on my page as well if you missed that one. But I was never a Star Trek fan, ever. J.J. Abrams made me a Star Trek fan. So I do owe him a lot for these reboots. They're nice, fun little space adventures. It's kind of like with Star Wars. And I know, plug up your ears, ladies and gentlemen, because I'm about to fucking say it. I'm not the biggest Star Wars fan, but I like them a lot. I just don't go ape shit over them. I go ape shit over this genre and comedies. That's just and horror. Those are probably my top 3 favorite. But yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of Star Trek, but those reboots really made it fun for me. And I was like, I like the whole cast in it. I think everyone does really well in their respective roles. And so I can't wait for Star Trek Beyond, man. Like it's going to be great.
I'm curious to see how it's going to go with Justin Lin directing. I'm very curious, and I'm excited that Idris Elba's going to be a villain. We don't know yet, but he's probably going to be a villain.
But
so
it's not even
curious about it. I'm really hoping that I'm sure it's not going to be as good as the first 2. Like it's not going to be on that same level as the first 2. But I think with JJ producing it, I think he's the producer behind it. I think he's going to give Justin Lin some tips. I think he's probably already given him some tips, but
I think the third one will be the best one, and here's why: Simon Pegg's co-writing it. If you guys,
yes, but who's he co-writing? If he was co-writing with Edgar Wright, then yeah, it'll be a fucking like spectacular film.
But Simon Pegg alone is a fantastic writer because for all you guys that don't know this, like he co-wrote all 3 of the Cornetto trilogy with Edgar Wright. Simon Pegg's a brilliant writer. So I think with him, like having a fresh pair of eyes on a script, because here's the deal. Alex Kurtzman and
Roberto Orci, they wrote the first 2, and it's gonna be nice to get some just new flavor in there. That's what I'm really curious about, to see how Simon's gonna take this and stuff. So I'm looking forward to the third one the most out of all of them, and it'll probably be the best one. But I'm just going off of Simon Pegg. So, woo! Oh, okay. So we have yet to have anything in common, and guess what? I know for a fucking fact that my number 1's not his number 1. So this is one of the first weeks where we actually have different lists. So let's do this. How are we going to break this down? Okay. Is your top 1? Is it an animated film? No.
Is it a comedy?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, if I know you and your taste, you probably picked one of the Jump Street movies.
Yes.
Boom. Boom, motherfucker. I'm too damn good. So With that being said, since I guessed right first, which one did you pick, 21 or 22?
21.
Okay.
21. It's my favorite comedy of this decade so far. I've said that many times. I said that on the Mark Wahlberg episode when I said Ted was my second favorite this decade so far. This movie is hilarious from beginning to end. Jonah Hill and Channing Tatum have amazing chemistry together. Phil Lord and Chris Miller, you two are seriously two of the best directors working today in Hollywood. I'm upset that you're not coming back for 23 Jump Street, supposedly, and that you're not coming back for the Lego movie sequel. But I'm excited to see what you do with the Han Solo movie. And it's just... they're both hilarious together. Ice Cube, straight out Compton this week. Fucking fantastic. Yeah, just Jonah Hill actually co-wrote the script with someone named Michael Bacall. And the sequel is as well as fantastic. It's probably the best comedy sequel we've had this decade, or probably of the last 10 years. It's probably the best comedy sequel we've had. I mean, there could be some other ones, but to me, it's 22 Jump Street's the best comedy sequel we've had. But this movie, like I said, makes me laugh from beginning to end. Should I spoil the big thing or no? Should I not?
No, we don't do that here. We're not.
Okay. All right. I'm making sure. Okay. Yes, and the show is it's based on a very popular show from the '80s. A show that I've only seen. I actually only watched the first episode of the show. It's on YouTube. I don't know if it's on anymore, but that was the only episode of the show I watched. And yeah, I think it's a faithful adaptation to the show. I was watching 22 Jump Street earlier today. And it's fucking amazing. Just these two movies are great. They're two of the best comedies of this decade so far. And when 23 comes out, I'm curious to see how that one goes. If, like I said, Phil Lord and Chris Miller aren't coming back to do it because they're going to be doing the Han Solo movie. So I'm hoping that it succeeds and it does everything justice. And yeah, 21 Jump Street is my favorite film based on a TV show. And it's my favorite comedy of this decade so far.
Little interesting fact about it, 21 Jump Street came out in 2012, and the co-writer, Michael Bacall, also had another movie that came out in 2012 that he wrote. Do you know which one that is?
No.
Project X. He wrote Project X, and he co-wrote 21 Jump Street, so he had a hell of a year. You can groan all you want, sir, but Project X is a guilty pleasure, son.
Every kid my age adores that fucking film.
Oh, don't say that, because now you're going to compare me to, like, all 17.
No, I'm not comparing. No. You're a film lover. I'm not arguing with you as a film lover. I'm arguing with people my age because they don't have a taste in any fucking films.
That's true.
They just like, listen, you could like these, they like these movies, and that's totally fine, but they don't like movies like The Fugitive or Birdman or Whiplash. They don't like movies like that. They just like raunchy comedies, which is fine, but then they like this dumb horror movies. I'm not saying you're one of the bad people, but they like the not so good horror movies. Like they don't like I don't know, give me a great horror movie like of the last like 2 years.
Hands down, my favorite ones are the Insidious trilogy.
Well, they like the Insidious trilogy. I'm not someone that, you know me, I'm not.
So, once again, you're comparing me to a 17-year-old.
Nope. No, actually, no. A lot of people like The Gallows. Yuck. A lot of people like, no one liked It Follows my age. And to be quite honest, I don't really like it that much anymore either. So, they didn't like Oculus. Did you see Oculus?
Yeah, I kind of dug it.
Yeah, see, no one liked that either. That was great.
Yeah,
for a horror movie, it was great.
It was actually pretty terrifying in some scenes, and I watched it at night, so I was like...
Yeah, and I believe it was PG-13. So for a PG-13 horror movie, it scared me.
It was R.
Oh, it was R. Oh.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
All right,
yeah.
So...
I'm curious to know what your number one is. Don't make me guess. I have no idea what your number one is. I'm not going to guess.
Brian, I'm the fucking king at guessing, and I can school you every single week.
Oh, no, you can't.
You have to at least try.
Okay.
I want you to get inside my mind space. Now, you know comedy is my favorite genre.
Okay.
I grew up with a lot of stuff in the 90s. This is based off of one of my all-time favorite show.
Oh, I don't know. Is this animated?
Yep.
Beavis and Butthead?
Ladies and gentlemen, Brian could not be so far from the truth. that makes me want to like puke up my lungs. Now listen, I like Beavis and Butthead a lot, but why on earth would I put that as my favorite?
South Park.
Boom, motherfucker! There it is.
I'm sorry. I totally forgot about that.
Guys, listen.
And it's listed on my honorable mentions.
Which is disturbing to me. Now listen.
What?
Let's give a little backstory. Mom and Dad, if you're listening, listen. Mom and Dad, if you're listening, I apologize. I did this as a kid. I went to my friend's house at 7 years old. His parents had some box sets, like little DVD box sets of South Park, and I watched it, and I was like, "This has got to be this has got to be the funniest show I've ever seen in my life." And this was at 7 years old, and so I started watching those episodes and stuff. And then when I found out they were doing a movie, literally in 1999, because here's the deal, folks. You want to know why Trey Parker and Matt Stone are fucking beasts compared to the Simpsons creators? South Park came out in 1995. The movie came out 4 years later. The Simpsons started out in 1989, and their movie didn't come out until 2007. That's pretty fucking awesome that you can.
Speaking of South Park, I was in Canada the other day. I was pissed off at something, and I almost blamed Canada, but I knew if I did that, I would have probably died.
Yeah, no, you probably.
And I'm shocked at that, and I'm glad that song got an Oscar nomination. I'm shocked at the same time because I'm shocked that the Academy would nominate something like that. But hey, listen, South Park, Bigger, Longer, and Uncut is a really entertaining film. I mean, it's so short. It's really fast paced. It's only, what is it, like 80 minutes long?
Yeah, it's only 80.
80? Wow. So such fast paced movie. I mean, the whole Satan thing is just, oh god. And I recently watched this movie about, I think like at the beginning of the year, I was watching it with my friends. We got pizza from our local pizza place. We had a lot of soda, and we decided, hey, let's watch a movie. And then like one of them hadn't seen the South Park movie. Like me and my other friend had seen it, but then the other guy's like, I've seen the show, but I have not seen the movie. And I'm like, oh, you must watch the movie. So we watched the movie, and it was fucking awesome. It was just, the movie is hilarious. I would say I personally like the Simpsons movie more than this movie, but I would still say that South Park, Bigger, Longer, and Uncut is a great movie. It's hilarious. The musical numbers are great for what they are. They're spoof, which is awesome. And Trey Parker and Matt Stone went on to do a musical called The Book of Mormon, which I honestly have not gotten the chance to see. I desperately want to go see it so bad. It won the Tony Award for Best Musical, which is cool. So you're like, oh, the South Park creators are now Tony-winning artists. No, that's fucking awesome.
Listen, I'm going to say this right now. This will be on the internet forever, and I'll say it again. Trey Parker and Matt Stone, one of the hardest working duos in the industry. Let's get this straight, folks. These guys make an episode every 7 days. The Family Guy people, they make an episode every couple months. That's how long it takes for them to do shit. South Park creates it from scratch, from the writing to the audio recording. Everything is done within 7 fucking days.
He's right about that, guys. He's right.
It's fucking impressive. And the fact that no one gives them even like the smallest ounce of credit for it, it's disturbing to me. I watched that documentary, the 6 Days to Air one, where it's based off of I
never even knew there was a documentary about this.
You need to watch it.
Is it on Netflix?
No, literally day one, they're in the writer's room. They come up with their shit, and then Trey goes into his office and starts writing out scenes. When he finishes the scene, he sends it to the animators. The animators get that done while Trey is still working on the script. He's also got to talk to legal and make sure nothing is going to fuck them up in the end. And then after that, the script's done. He sends the whole thing to the animation department. When the animation department is done with the scene, they send it over to the recording booth so Trey and Matt can do the voices for the show. And then once the voices are recorded, they have to sync it up to the animation. They have to edit the animation, and then they have to package it all together, put it on a goddamn tape, and send it off to Comedy Central within 6 days. These guys are fucking beasts, man. And they've been my fucking idols since I've been 7, because I've adored everything they've done. They are very hard workers at what they do, and it's a very funny show that stays fucking relevant. This is the only show in history to where, like, on each season, it's actually relevant to whatever the news stories are of that year. It stays up with the times, and that is why it is that's why it's so popular. and the movie is so fucking funny. It's the first time South Park actually got to go crossing that line and stuff, and they actually got to curse and actually do what they're supposed to do without getting bleeps or anything. They got to go balls to the wall, and it's a damn funny movie. It is damn entertaining. South Park is my baby, and will be. I don't think any other.
And wait, Chase, let me ask you this: did you ever play The Stick of Truth?
I love that game.
It's great.
It's
great.
so fun. That's what I'm saying. Like South Park, the brand in general, movie, television, games, apparel, whatever. It's one of the best in history. And I'm not even joking. Like South Park is one of the best animated brands in history. It's just good. If you guys have not seen this fucking movie, it is almost. It's 3 years away from being 20 years old. Let that sink in. It
still holds up, guys.
Yeah.
Still holds up to this day.
It's amazing. It came out the same year I watched American Pie and everything because that came out the same year. So like that was like the year of like
raunchy comedy.
Yeah, that was the year of my downfall of my mental state. So South Park is my favorite film based on television adaptation. But guys, I don't care what that you see my voice just crack because I'm so excited. I don't care what me and Brian have to say. I don't care what you have to say. So comment in that place up on my face, and you let me and Brian know what are some of your favorite film to TV adaptations, or television to show movie. Do you know what to fucking do? So anyways, Brian, as usual, he will introduce our topic for next week.
Wait. Remember what we said. We always got to mention what our worst is, our least favorite. We got to do this, dude. There's a lot of bad ones. We got to do this. We got to bash them.
But I kind of don't want to because they're terrible. But let me just go through mine really fast.
I have like 18 disciple mentions.
Dark Shadows.
Yuck.
No. Inspector Gadget.
Yuck.
No. Land of the
yuck.
Lost. Land of the Lost is the most forgettable Will Ferrell movie ever. I don't remember shit from that movie except Danny McBride was in it. Why? Miami Vice is one of the worst Michael Mann movies I've ever seen. And then Scooby fucking Doo. Let me do my impressions. Like Zoink Scoob, why does our movie suck balls? Oh, I don't fucking know.
Hey, listen. I will say this right now. People actually don't hate Matthew Lillard as Shaggy. I would probably say he's the only good thing about that Scooby-Doo movie.
He was fine in the movie. I just don't like the movie.
It's him. It's just him. That's fine. Freddie Prinze Jr. was overacting. Sarah Michelle Gellar was beautiful, but she was trying to act like Buffy because Buffy was still on at that time. And then Linda Cardellini was just... I don't know what the fuck she was doing. And then Rowan Atkinson, what the fuck was he doing? He was playing like an evil version of Zazu. It was weird.
Before you get to your list, believe it or not, out of all the Scooby-Doo casts, like Zoink Scoob, the only person that's actually doing very well in film right now,
Linda Cardellini.
Because she's in everything now. She's like making a comeback. It's amazing.
She's on Bloodline right now.
Yeah, exactly. And like she was in one of my other favorite shows of all time, Freaks and Geeks. And so like I'm glad that she's actually having a steady career. So anyways, those are the ones that kind of stuck out to me, and they're god-awful, if you will. Brian has a whole novel's worth. So, Brian, shoot through them really fast. What are some of the ones that really just get under your skin and make your just insides burn?
Okay, the Garfield films, Miami Vice, Land of the Lost, the 3 Alvin and the Chipmunks movies, Doug's first movie, Rugrats Go Wild, Lost in Space, Dark Shadows, Inspector Gadget, The A-Team, which I admit wasn't awful, but it wasn't good either, Fat Albert, I'm going to put the pills in your food, the Flintstone movies, even though the first one wasn't awful, but the second one is Bewitched, The Dukes of fucking Hazzard, G.I. Joe, Rise of the Cobra, Barney's Great Adventure.
What the fuck? What is that?
What?
Some PBS adventure that you pulled out of your ass? What is that?
It's like the theatrical release Barney film. Did you ever see pretty much its like commentary sample on it? It's like the funniest shit ever. Oh my god. It's like he like pushes around a kid. It's like the weirdest fuck. He's like a fucking like he's like, "Oh, I'm going to show off to you, you motherfucker."
Whoa, wait a minute. I saw the show when I was a kid. They had a theatrically released
You didn't know this?
Barney?
And it's on YouTube, too. The whole movie's on YouTube. It's only like an hour and 10 minutes. Oh, God, dude. You gotta, like, buy PMI's commentary on it. It's, like, the best thing I think. It's, like, the only commentary I ever bought in my life. It's a genius. But my worst is The Last Airbender. I was a big fan of the show. M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong, what the fuck were you thinking? You ruined it, and then you're like, oh, so we're going to call it Book 1, because then we're going to make the other 2 into movies. No, you're not, because no one gives a fuck, okay? You ruined it. Why were you close up on people? The eyebrows were, like, out of the shot. Like, what the fuck? And their chin was also out of the shot. Like, it's like, oh, that's my worst movie based on a TV show. It's just, oh god. But Barney's Great Adventure, dude, is so laughably awful. I want you, after we record this, go on to Pretty Much Zed's the YouTube channel and watch their commentary sample. Just watch, dude. It's
I'll watch it. I'll support them.
I want to see your reaction to it after we record this.
I'll support them because I actually like them. Anyways, yeah, that's a hell of a list, dude. Like.
I hate why they're making a 4th Alvin and the Chipmunks movie. Why the fuck are they doing that? Why? It's not even going to make money because it's coming out at the same time as Star Wars. It's not going to make money.
Fuck yeah, it is. It's great counter programming for kids. Listen, these sequels are awful. The Squeakquel, Chipwrecked, The Road Chip, shoot my dick. No. Why are we naming movies like this? You're just dumbing down the population. So dumb. Don't name your fucking movies that. All right. Anyways, that's our list for top 5 honorable mentions and the ones that just cause a red mark on our ass. So with that being said, Brian, what is the sneak peek into next week?
Next week, in honor of Sinister 2, we're going to be doing our top 5 sequels. Now, here's how this is going to work. We're only going to do second installments. We're not going to include third installments. We're just going to include the second installment. Examples include The Two Towers, The Empire Strikes Back, Godfather 2, The Dark Knight. Those are examples like that. We're not including, like, Return of the King or Back to the Future 3. We're not doing that, okay? We're just talking about the second installment to a series, and one of them also includes 22 Jump Street, all right? So that's what we're going to do for next week, top 5 sequels in honor of Sinister 2.
Boom. So that will be next week's episode, guys. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So, Brian, where can the good people find you online?
You can find me on Twitter at BrianSuts98 and on YouTube.com/BrianSutfield.
All of his links will be in the description below, as well as all mine. You can do whatever the hell you want. I don't care. I love you all. Thank you for watching another episode of Top 5 Saturdays Live of our top 5 movies based on television shows. I'm Chase Lee.
I'm Brian Sutfield.
That's fucking right. And we will see you guys next week for another episode. Let's play the outro music, which is done by my friend's band, Fervent Roze. Their link in the description will be in the description box below, so you can check out their music. Let's play this out. Oh, wow. Fucking Airbender, man. It is awful, awful, awful. And so is... Whoa! Zoink, Scoob! That was awful. I'm going to go cry now. All right, let me go and stop this. See you guys later.